In a world where bold statements are made on a regular basis, this one just might take the cake.
This is not some dude at the next cubicle over.
A proclamation so bold that it surpassed the previous bold statement from the same person.
I am Sports Sturm.
And no other statement since can quite compare to it. How did such a brash and pompous thing come from a person who came from such humble beginnings? And why, after making such a brazen and shameless quip, was this person forced to go back just moments later and apologize for being Whitney Houston wrong?
I'm sorry.
We start from the beginning and give you all the details as we go behind the drop. Bob Sturm versus Efren Herrera. It was a typical Monday during football season on Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. Bob Sturm and Dan McDowell, the two hosts of Bad Radio from noon to 3 on The Ticket, didn't have to work a full 3-hour shift because from noon to 1 on Mondays and Fridays during the season, Channel 8 sports icon Dale Hansen took over and told DFW the truth about the Cowboys and the rest of the National Football League. Although it took precious time away from them giving their hot sports opinions, or HSOs, both Bob and Dan were thrilled to work 2 hours less every week, but still get paid the same amount of money. Plus, they got to spend time with the Musers host George Dunham having lunch at Herrera's. Dale kept it plugged for that noon hour on Monday, thankfully, and when Bob and Dan took to the airwaves, it felt like a regular Monday. After an award-winning mix with the corn-fed Cornhusker, Bob started talking about how he spent his weekend feeding his newborn son and watching sports on television. Fox Sports Southwest was replaying the Dallas Stars' run to the Stanley Cup Championship in 1999, and Bob was locked in.
Last Saturday, or 2 days ago, was the Edmonton series. So at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 9 o'clock, they dedicated 1 hour to each game of the Edmonton series. So I just thought, you know what? I got TiVo room. Let me roll on all 4 of them and then watch them at my leisure. Over the weekend, I watched games 1 and 2, and, of course, they're cut down to, like, 30 minutes. It's a 60-minute program, but, 15 of it's interviews with Ralph and Razor and Doug Armstrong and whoever else, and then they show the game. So it's probably 40 minutes to see an entire playoff game, or at least the pick-and-choose part of the playoff game. It was great.
After sharing some misty watercolored memories of the way we were, it was now time to give the listeners what they call in radio a tease, or what's coming up later on the show. Who knew something that Bob Sturm had done 1,000 times before in his radio lifetime would on this day become a part of ticket history?
I forgot how great Guy Carbonneau was. I mean, I didn't forget, but it's nice to see him again. And anyway, enough nostalgia for a Monday. All right, it's 1:07. Let's get cooking here. We have Pedro. Efren Ramirez?
Hello.
Or Efren, is that right?
That's right.
Efren Ramirez. Okay.
You nailed it the first time.
Thank you. Not Efren Herrera, the former Seahawks kicker. But right. Efren Ramirez will join us at 2:10.
No big deal, right? Efren Herrera did kick for the Seattle Seahawks for 4 years, so as usual, Bob Sturm was correct in regards to football. But just like a game on the Midway at the State Fair of Texas, someone stepped up to challenge Bob Sturm's recollection of Efren Herrera's career path, and Bob accepted.
I'm already in an email battle with somebody.
Why don't you just be nice, dude? Just say yes, you're right.
All right, well, after my Efren Herrera reference of a couple moments ago, he says, when you live here in Dallas, one does not refer to the great Efren Herrera as a Seahawk. Have they ever been to the playoffs? Efren Herrera won Super Bowls here. Get with the program. That's from Jerry.
Dan McDowell reflects.
So you listen to how condescending Bob is while reading this email. He probably only read it on the air so he could totally sports bully Jerry.
I had no intention of bullying Jerry. I just wanted to make sure the right information was being told, and I felt like I had the right information.
But the right information was already told. I mean, before, when he gave that information out, and said Herrera and said Seahawks, that was out there. So clearly only read the email to, I guess, hold up that point to show that he was extra right, or I mean, it would only be to show that he was doubly right, or to sports bully Jerry. Poor Jerry. So after this, though, I'm thinking, if it's a battle between a dude named Jerry and Sports Sturm, I put my money clearly on Sports Sturm. That's just the right play. Little did I know that Bob was thinking that and a whole lot more.
I got to admit, I was feeling pretty good. I mean, I'm standing in the neutral corner, and the referee's giving Jerry a standing 8 count. I was pretty sure I won the fight.
Jerry,
Have your facts straight before you email Bob. He just won't ignore it.
if you're going to take on Sports
Can you just
Sturm,
ignore
dude, you better have it together.
Just ignore it. This is not obviously a...
This is not some dude at the next cubicle over.
Boom, right? I mean, I'm not some dude in the next cubicle over. It made sense at the time. I really thought I had him.
Whoa. And that was it. That's period. End of story. That's the final shot. You can't take him out of the ring. That's and if he's going to deliver a knockout like that, that was gold.
The first thing I thought was the arrogance of that son of a bitch. And then the second thing was I started rubbing my hands together because I realized he was wrong.
When the Junes heard that segment that day, my first thought was, how weird would it have been if the guy in the next cubicle over had been Efren Herrera? What a weird dynamic that would have made for it. Just, I don't know. That's what I thought of.
What's wrong with the dude in the cubicle? I kind of enjoy my cubicle. I don't understand.
Yeah, I thought, oh, no, Bob. No, he is a cowboy. He is, you idiot. You big, bald idiot.
Hi, this is Mike Ducey from Fox 4. I'm sure you're familiar with some of my work. 2 questions. Number 1, who is Bob? And number 2, what is this cubicle incident you brought up? I'm not really sure what you're talking about.
Well, I had worked with Jerry at a telemarketing concern out of Royce City for a few years. So I knew some of the troubles that Jerry and his late wife had gone through. They'd had a hard time conceiving, and then when Rebecca did conceive, she got this horrible diagnosis that eventually took her life shortly after the baby was born. So I was privy to a little bit of that, and I knew that Efren had paid for Rebecca's funeral because Jerry had spent most of his money on hopeful life-saving drugs. But, Bob didn't really care about any of that. He just wanted to chest beat and strut on radio. And I guess that's what his religion teaches, to each his own. So, I don't know. Little Madeline's 7 years old now, and Efren still tries to support Jerry as a single parent. So, the incident's over with as far as I'm concerned.
Enemy locked. Shot fired. Target missed. After producer Tom Gribble, the inventor of Big Al on Kiss FM, got flooded with calls contradicting Sports Sturm.
I was left with no choice. I had to step in and take the shovel away from Bob because he was digging that hole deeper and deeper.
So now we are getting reports that Efren Herrera was there.
I'm afraid I'm looking at
Why is Pro Football Reference screwing me like that?
I don't know. I'm looking at the Cowboys media guide, and Efren Herrera did play in 74, then 76, 77.
Well, Sports
Have
Sturm.
we seen Sports Sturm defeated today?
No, we haven't. We saw Pro Football Reference defeated.
Oh, you can't claim victory as Sports Sturm.
I didn't claim victory.
Didn't claim victory. I feel like he was kind of standing over him like that Ali poster. You know what I mean? Who is it that he was standing over? I mean, that was a huge victory. We're pouring Gatorade on the guy. I mean, Sturm had won again.
Okay, I probably claimed victory because I thought I had in my back pocket an infallible website. There are no infallible websites except like Bible.com, right? So, sorry, I should never do that. I was humbled. I remain somewhat humbled. Maybe not.
Sure, being wrong hurts, and being called out on it hurts even worse. But no one handles it with such style and grace as Bob Sturm. Being wrong once every 13 years is still a great percentage, and even a broken clock is right twice every day, so Bob has that beat also. Way to go, Bob Sturm. For Behind the Drop, I'm Kevin McCarthy.
Bob was checking his email in the studio one day. I thought it was innocent, maybe a gay, not gay. But it took issue with Bob about something he had said. Then I saw blood boiling over. The Sturminator was red. If you know Efren Herrera played for the boys in the bowl, then you are not just a guy in the next cubicle. If you say you're a sports computer and say football's your game, But you don't know your Cowboys. Go to the box and feel shame.
Is there more?
I think so, off the top of my head.
Really?
I might have one more verse in me.
All right.
The story continues.
Bob wanted to be real accurate. He used the net for his facts. Then he called out the P1. Basically called him a common spare jackass. Then he did some more research and realized his huge mistake. And so he begged for forgiveness, wondered if he was a fake. If you know Efren Herrera, play for the boys in the bowl, then you are not just the guy in the next cubicle. If you say you're a sports computer and say football's your game, but you don't know your Cowboys, go to the box and feel shame.
This is not some dude at the next cubicle over.